Hey everybody, it's Fox with FoxeoGames, and this is a Fox First Scent for Odin Sphere, the HD remaster, which I downloaded from the Japanese PlayStation Network, the demo version. I'm not sure how to pronounce the subtitle, Leifthrasir? It's the best I can do, guys. It was originally released on the PlayStation 2, and it was really cool. A lot of people love the art aesthetic and the style to it, but the combat was a little off, was criticized a bit. Thankfully, they have reworked the combat in addition to making it an HD remaster, and I can tell you right now that this demo has done its job because I wasn't originally planning on getting the game, but after playing the demo, I definitely want it now. You move from right to left with some platforming moving up and down, but it's essentially got a single plane. You can't move back and forward like you can in some action games like Dragon's Crown by the same developer. And you'll notice immediately that if you're familiar with Muramasa the Demon Blade, very similar aesthetic in some ways, very similar combat in many ways. And let me tell you something, the rework combat is awesome. It's all about the combos, it's all about the style. You can even continue to attack enemies after they're dead to work up your chain attacks, your combo attacks essentially. And part of that is going up in the air and flinging enemies up into the air and then staying up in the air and attacking them up there, which is totally unrealistic obviously, but really, really fun to do. This is my favorite character of the 5 characters available in the demo version. Her name is Velvet. I love the way she looks and I love the way she plays. The aesthetic in the game, I just love every bit of it. Every level, the parallax scrolling, the multiple layers to the background. I love the enemy designs, the character designs. It's all awesome. I liked Dragon's Crown, but the characters in there were a little overdone. They looked kind of, I don't know, strange to me. Like their proportions were all wrong. Here, they look a little bit more natural. They're not entirely, proportioned, but they have that almost a sort of fairy tale anime aesthetic to them, which I think is really, really cool. So you got a little bit of a Muramasa the Demon Blade in there. Awesome combo attacks. And you've got 5 characters you can play in the demo. I played through from start to finish with all 5 characters, even though they're all the same levels. So I played basically the same levels and fought the same bosses 5 times in a row. And I can tell you that all 5 characters play differently. Now, I don't know if there are any more characters than the 5 in the demo, but each of the 5 do something different in terms of their movement and also have very different combat styles. You'll notice she has this swinging ability, which is really cool. You can sort of just like grapple onto the sky. We don't know what's up there that she's grappling onto. And each one is different. There's one, for example, that focuses mainly on ranged attacks. She has, this one right here. She has attacks where she shoots stuff almost from like a magical crossbow. And then you've got a couple other characters. The other 4 are all melee, primarily melee. But once you get your combos going, depending on the order you hit the buttons and what you're doing, you can get some really cool effects, like some really cool moves out of this thing. So I imagine that especially, hopefully there's a really hard difficulty so that, for people who really know what they're doing, they can crank up the difficulty and really master the game. The demo version just had a set difficulty, and it was fairly easy. I don't think I died at all, maybe one time, but as long as you're a little bit careful, you can push through the demo. But what was really cool was the fact that all 5 characters just really felt different. They did different things, they had different moves, and it was fun to play each one of them. Basically, you go through screen by screen, level by level, and you get a score afterwards, a standard Japanese score of like S through E or D or something like that. And then each area has its own little aesthetic with different enemies and whatnot. You can pick up items which you use and you level up, which is really cool, kind of adds an RPG element to it, which is something you'd expect if you played Dragon's Crown. And overall, I have to say, wow, I was really impressed. It's not just a visual remaster. They didn't just repackage it with nicer visuals, which by itself is really cool, but they really added... They really changed up the combat in some ways. Now, it's been a long time since I've played the original on the PS2. I remember thinking that the combat felt a little off, but when I played this, I loved it. Like this guy right here, looks like almost like a little bunny or something. At first, I was reluctant to even play him because he looked kind of silly, but after picking him up and using that sword and seeing what abilities he had, it was fun. All 5 characters were fun to play. I would say that my least favorite was the fairy girl that was shooting stuff because I prefer melee. I've always preferred melee in games, whether it's Dark Souls, whether it's an RPG, or whether it's an action game. I've always been a fan of melee. This was one of the 2 bosses that you had in the game. This is where the difficulty spiked just a little bit, but not too much. And this is another one of the characters as well. This guy was really cool. He had a special ability that you'll see in a moment here. Oh, that one was really awesome as well. Like, if you know what you're doing, you can get some awesome combos going. But he has another special ability where he goes into like this sort of chaos form. Boom, right there. That was really cool as well, and it looked awesome. Just the aesthetic, the way the combos work, the sound effects in the game, the way you can just stack up the damage and keep hurling the enemies into the air and then jump up into the air and keep attacking them up there. Like this right here was the final boss of the demo. I love this dragon. Like it just looks really cool. There are some gimmicks to some of the fights, like he'll try to swallow you up, so you know I use my grappling ability to try to get away from that. And then if you look at the top of the screen up there, you can actually see where the boss is, because occasionally the boss will disappear and come back onto the screen. And I realized that if you don't use that little kind of map up there, you won't know when it's coming, and you kind of get hit from stuff off the screen. Also, the boss had this like way that he threw sort of junk at you, like armor that was all piled up into a ball, and you could hit that and destroy it and send it back at him. Just really fun demo. I was surprised. So overall, my impressions are very good of the game, and I'm looking forward to the release this June. Will I pick it up for $60? I'm hoping that I have the resolve to wait till it drops in price, because I hate paying $60. But I get the feeling that even at $60, the game would be worth it. I'm Fox with FoxeoGames, and I will see you guys next time.